combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. If you're brand new to the show, check it out at JimmyRants.com, and you'll see how it works. It's a pretty interesting show. We start off on Instagram a couple of times a day. I do a couple of live videos on Instagram, so go follow me there on Instagram, Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. And once you're there, you can engage in the content live, just like all these beautiful people are doing right now. And then if you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. But then poof, it disappears from Instagram. But never fear, we got you covered. We pop them on over onto YouTube for you after that, so you can access all the past episodes, 130 something and counting so far, you guys. And then finally, the best of the best moments of this here show is on a Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcasts. Go check it out. Leave us a review. JimmyRants.com is the website with all the links. Today's Jimmy Rants is all about something I have noticed observing the community for a very long time. So before keto was a thing and people started putting themselves out there, and keto was kind of growing as a movement and people were starting to identify with the keto movement, I have been watching all along and watching these people pop up. And it's always interesting to me, the monikers that people come up with. When I came up with Livin' La Vida Low Carb way back in 2005, nobody was really doing anything like that. So I was like, okay, I'm about low carb diets. I want to brand that. So I called myself Livin' La Vida Low Carb. And for the longest time, I felt like people tried to put me in a box because of that. Well, you call yourself Livin' La Vida Low Carb, so you think everybody should eat low carb diets. You think that all you're allowed to ever talk about is just low carb diets. And at some point, the branding became synonymous with me. So it wasn't like I had to, quote, stick with low carb, although some people tried to peg me as such. So what I want to talk about here, though, is related to that. Because what I'm seeing happen is people are identifying themselves so closely with keto that it becomes who they are. Keto is not who you are. Keto is what you do to get healthy. And so the people that call themselves keto something or something keto on social media, that's great. I think it's a great way for people to identify that you're a resource talking about keto. My concern is a lot of people are letting their identity get caught up in that word, that take away the keto and they're no longer valued. I don't like that. We're all valued. We all have something to share. So I don't want people to so closely align themselves that they have to be keto anything. Keto isn't who you are. Keto is what you do to be healthy. And I see my friend Keto Karma just popped on here. Suzanne, she will tell you, she came up with that moniker Keto Karma because it was a brand that she thought represented who and what she was all about. She didn't build it to be a brand, neither did I with Livin' La Vida Low Carb, neither do a lot of people that kind of get into this space. But she did that because she wanted people to know, hey, I'm about keto. And I think that's great. But there's other people that they put keto in their name on an Instagram moniker, and they make it their entire identity. So then what happens when, like Keto Teacher Mom, what happens, Lindy, when keto is no longer a thing, I suppose? I suppose you'll probably keep it, just like Suzanne will keep Keto Karma, just like I've kept Livin' La Vida Low Carb for years. You're not going to stop being that. But there will be people who will go, oh my gosh, I've just lost my identity of who and what I'm about. Because I got to have that keto in there, or I don't have that connection. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Lindy says, heck yeah, I am definitely staying keto teacher mom. You know, and it was so funny because when I did Living La Vida Low Carb, and then along came paleo in 2010, I started being involved in the paleo community as the low carb paleo guy. Everybody was like, are you going to change your moniker to Living La Vida Paleo? I'm like, no, I'm still low carb, but I don't have to associate with that term so much that it's going to make or break who and what I am. Do you guys get the jive of what I'm sharing here today? A lot of people are identifying so strongly with keto that if keto suddenly is no longer as popular as it is now, and in about 2020, 2021, that's going to be true. It will not be as popular as it is now. What's going to happen if you so identify yourself with that term that when it poof goes away, what happens to you? What happens to your value? What happens to what you think about yourself? And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys here today, as I'm seeing there's a lot of connection that people have. And back to my story of when I started Living La Vida Low Carb as a brand, and then paleo came around. No, I didn't change it to Living La Vida Paleo. Then I wrote Keto Clarity in 2014, and a lot of people were like, well, you should change your name to Living La Vida Keto. I'm like, no, I don't have to so identify with the thing that I'm doing to make myself healthy. Is anybody else making Living La Vida essential oils? Are they doing Living La Vida low fat? I suppose they are, if they wanted to. I don't think we need to identify ourselves in that way and put all of our emotional eggs in one basket. And yes, it is an incredible modality for making you healthy. But is it who and what you are? I would argue no. Who and what you are is who you are on the inside. Who and what I am, apart from the low carb keto guy that you know, who and what I am is the same person as I was when I was 410 pounds. The same person I was when I ate junk food like it was going out of style. Who and what I am was not predicated on any given lifestyle change that I've made. The lifestyle change is amazing, and don't get me wrong, I'm gung-ho about keto. I should make a bumper sticker with that. I'm gung-ho about keto and stick it on the back of my car. But that doesn't mean that I'm so aligned with keto that it has to become who I am, okay? All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. A little bit off the beaten path topic here today for you, but that's how I roll. Lots of people here. Oh, I see my friend Keto Karma said hello. Hey there. What's up? What's up? Heck yeah, says Lindy, keto teacher mom, talking about keeping keto in her name even after keto falls out of favor. Happy, healthy sisters, definitely. That's so keto, yes, because, and it is a topic that must be spoken on. And see, that's the thing that's so keto. I think people using keto in a name as their Instagram moniker, for example, and you've done that, that's so keto. I guess that's a play on That's So Raven, so that's so keto. And what's my favorite one? My friend Mike Berta has one called Keto My Burrito. I just love the poeticness of Keto My Burrito. Is that people use these things to have others help find them and identify them. But there are some that are just so connected to it that my concern is what happens when keto isn't as big as it is now, and maybe it's not something that's as relevant, but they've identified so strongly with that word. What happens? I know what's going to happen for me. Nothing. It's going to be great. I mean, I haven't built who and what I am as a person around that word keto. Yes, I've had successful books. Yes, I've had podcasts and talking about this subject, but who and what I am will never be predicated on the popularity or not of a term like keto or a term like low carb. It's just not tied that way. Keto teacher mom, my value ain't going anywhere, my friend. No. And you know that, Lindy. But not everybody's as strong as you are. And so I think it's great that we have all of these people saying they're keto this or blank keto as their moniker on Instagram. But just be wary, you guys, not to tie yourself so closely to that term and forget about who you are and forget that keto is merely the means by which you're getting healthy. Holly Jane 1983 says, keto for life, it's my miracle. And I think it's okay to be proud that it has changed your life. When I did Living La Vida Low Carb as my moniker, I wanted people to know loud and proud I was living the low carb life and was very proud of it. I had a very successful weight loss, was able to come off of prescription medications, and I had stuff to say. And all these years later, I still have stuff to say. And so that's why I did that one. But I mean, if you take away Living La Vida Low Carb, does that take away who Jimmy Moore is? No. Low carb, keto, all of these modalities are how I got healthy. Who and what I am is a totally different thing. Suzanne Keto Karma, totally agree. This is just one of the many parts of my life. And Suzanne, your life's just starting. You've had great success over the past year. You guys don't follow Keto Karma. Go follow her. She's pretty awesome. I love you to death, Suzanne. And so she's got big things happening in her life that, yeah, long after the keto dust has settled, she's still going to be reaping those benefits of what's happening in her life right now for her. So I'm very proud of you, my friend. 21 Dances with Dogs. Oh yes, we are so many things. Keto is a way of eating. And yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. We are literally a multiplicity of things. Besides being a guy that disseminates keto information through podcasts and through books, I'm a chicken owner. I take care of 26 backyard chickens. I'm a cat owner. I have 4 cats that I want to strangle sometimes because they throw up and poop everywhere. You know, I'm a husband to a wife. And we have that relationship. I'm so many things that go beyond keto that it's almost funny to think that you have to identify with that word in order to have any value and see yourself in a positive light. Joshua, I've been finding myself listening to keto fasting podcasts all the time, as well as absorbing as much information as possible. Before I was keto, I was ADHD, a squirrel. Well, you're finding your way, Joshua, and we're really proud of you, man. Nancy says, I'm an old lady who grew up in the 60s, hippie time, so I like to avoid labels. Yeah. Was it flower children, the ones that were growing up? My mama was a flower child. Not deeply into it, but from that era, that generation. How do I feel about living low carb, man? So Keisha Farrar, exactly what I've been talking about here. Living low carb, man, is the moniker I use. But if I didn't have that moniker, would I be any less Jimmy Moore? It's food for thought. I don't think so. I don't need, and I've actually been offered money for my branding before, by the way. So somebody offered to pay me for Living La Vida Low Carb. They wanted to own the brand Living La Vida Low Carb. And I refused. I'm like, why would I sell my brand? And they threw a lot of money. I mean, they wanted to give me a lot of money for it. And I'm like, okay, but that's the thing that I've chosen to brand myself. But I suppose in hindsight, had I sold it, I would have still carried on in my work. It just wouldn't have been under that name. So I guess that doesn't make my point here, but the point being that you can so closely tie yourself to some term like keto, for me, living low carb band, living La Vida Low Carb, that it can become who you are. And if it's taken away, are you away? Or have you been gone and taken away? I don't think so. LCHF is about how I eat. It is aligned to my values, which is being as healthy as I can, says Kiwi Girl 63. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not saying, you guys, that you need to not acknowledge what low carb or keto or whatever you've done has done in your life. Always, always acknowledge. Suzanne will always acknowledge that keto helped change her life. But keto's not her life, right? To quote Popeye, uh-oh, Nancy. I am what I am, what I am. That's what I am. That's all I am. Is that the Robin Williams version of Popeye? I needed this more than you know. Awesome. Keto Brunette, North Carolina. So, Keto Brunette, North Carolina, what stops you from just being Brunette, North Carolina? Someday, maybe that becomes the moniker. You don't need the keto. Again, not dissing anyone that uses keto in the name and their blogger name. I use low carb in my branding, Living La Vida Low Carb, but I don't so identify with that if you took it away from me, I wouldn't still be the core of who I am. Keisha says, I don't think you'd be any less. No, I would be more. See what I did there? I'd be Jimmy Moore. Just kidding. She said, or any different. Joanne Deal says, I love your latest book. I had the carbs right, but now I understand protein. Oh, awesome, Joanne. Thank you. Real Food Keto is the name of that book. Agree, Keto Mommy is just my account that shares recipes, a little fitness, and hope to influence others and incorporate into their family life. Some friends may not want to follow that. And yeah, and I know people that they have multiple accounts because of that you have Ketoned Mommy, but maybe you're just mommy of whatever your last name is. And I think that would be a great way to distinguish it. Okay, here's my low carb keto stuff over here, and here's my life over here, and keeping it distinguished. Keto Meemaw says, when you become disabled, you learn the hard way that you cannot define yourself by what you do. When that gets taken away from you, you know better, or you better know who you are, because that's really all you have. Wise words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing that. I get your point of this rant. Thank you, Keisha. Hi, Mika says, I love my keto. I will always keto, but it's not who I am. Way to go, Mika. Grandma does keto. That's why I'm Grandma does keto. I'm still grandma with or without keto. I'm just going to be here a lot longer. I like that. I like that a lot. That keto's making you live longer so that you can have those moments, but you're not keto. So I love that. Grandma does keto. Yeah, if you called yourself Grandma is keto, maybe it'd be a different story. Beautiful binge eater, I choose to identify with my problem instead of my solution because of the negative stigma that's associated with the term. She's talking about binge eating. It's okay to admit to being an alcoholic, but I feel like there's shame in eating disorders. Yeah, and I'm proud of you. I think you are very brave to put yourself out there, because you're right. You are scorned because of that. I don't scorn you. I think what you're doing, putting yourself out there, shows incredible strength and bravery. So keep being who and what you are, because you're going to help so many people. But your eating disorder history doesn't define who you are. Who you are now defines who you are. People call me the keto warden, says Joanne Deal, because I'm so dedicated, but I'm thrilled with my life changes. Hey, if people see that you have information for them that can help them in their journey, then so be it. You don't need the keto label to be that to them. But if it helps them find you, I suppose that's a good thing. Escon Mamma Mia says, reading Real Food Keto. I grabbed it because I saw Christine was an NTP, and I'm currently going through the program. Love it so far. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Read the back of the book, and it will look extremely familiar to a nutritional therapy practitioner or a student. Keisha says, multiple accounts, but I don't know if I want to have both of them. I don't think you have to. I think sometimes people say, well, and I got this a lot when I first started, using my Living La Vida Low Carb like Facebook page and posting things that were not nutrition related. And people were like, wait a minute, you're the low carb guy. You're not allowed to talk about anything else but low carb. And I'm like, that's just my brand. I can talk about whatever the bleep I want to talk about, right? So that was funny. I ignored those people. I posted about my cats. Or I remember I posted famously on Easter several years ago, 3-4 years ago, about something about Jesus rising from the grave. Oh, you're bringing religion, and I thought you were about low carb. And I'm just like, really? Are we there? Really? Keto isn't who I am, you guys. It's just my diet. It's what I did to get healthy. Okay? So hopefully you're getting that message here today. Keto by George says, keto is part of my life, but it does not define me. It is what has put me on the path to a healthier life. I have so many passions, and this is just one of them. George is right. I get called a zealot a lot, says Grandma does keto. I don't preach, but damn it, why not be zealous about something that's fixed problems that were killing me? Yeah, how can you not? I call that passion. And if you're sharing that passion, you're doing your duty. All right, guys, that is it for this Jimmy Rants. The bottom line in this one is keto isn't who you are. No matter how much people will try to put you in a box and say you must identify with that term, and then what happens when you don't, it's not who you are. The core being of who you are is who you are. Not your diet that got you healthy. Now, your diet that got you healthy, you should celebrate and you should tell people about it and get it out there. But it's not who you are. I want to tell people about keto, but I don't know people, or I know people that don't want to hear it. Oh, no, just another diet post and roll their eyes, says Lori. So I don't worry about what other people think. I just post. And if they don't like it, here's a magical thing. If you don't like something that you see on social media, there's this really great option of swipe past it. Amazing. Works every time. Gets rid of it off your screen instantly. Lifting defines me more than how I eat. Eat healthy, which is LCHF right now, says keto coach Russ Holstein. But even that, you wouldn't so identify with that, Russ, that it becomes who and what you are. Never. All right, guys, that is it for this Jimmy Rants. As always, head on over to jimmyrants.com. You'll see how this works. We start off on Instagram Live, so go follow me on Instagram. Got a lot of great discussion down here from my Instagrammers. Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. And you can follow me there, watch live. I try to do a couple times a day. Today, I only got in the one. I was traveling this morning, so we got just one in today. But generally, it's two. Sometimes I even sneak in a third one every once in a while. But go follow me on Instagram. If you miss the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. If you miss it there, then it pops over onto YouTube, where we have them all posted. Just put in a keyword search Jimmy Rants, and you will find the past episodes. And then finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show over on Apple Podcasts with the Jimmy Rants podcast, jimmyrants.com. So until next time, we'll see you then.